She was 7 months pregnant, alone in a soul storm. Everyone walked past the blind little girl, but Zola stopped.
Pregnant black woman saves blind girl. Her dad is a ruthless Korean mafia boss. On a rain-soaked night in Seoul, Zola Jackson stops for a blind child standing alone on the sidewalk. She doesn't know the girl's father controls the city's most dangerous criminal empire. She only knows the child is scared, and she can't walk away. Before we continue, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing how global this community is. And if you enjoy cinematic romance dramas like this, like the video and subscribe. Now let's go back to that rainy night in Seoul. The rain comes down harder now, turning the evening into a blur of headlights and hurried footsteps. Most people rush past with umbrellas bent against the wind, eager to escape the storm. Zola Jackson walks slower than the rest. At 7 months pregnant, every step requires intention. Her hand rests on the curve of her belly, protective even in this simple gesture. She wears a dark green jacket that barely zips over her midsection, and her natural hair is pulled back under a hood that's already soaked through. She's searching for a taxi, squinting through the rain at passing cars that ignore her raised hand. That's when she sees her. A little girl, maybe 8 years old, standing perfectly still on the sidewalk. She holds a white cane in both hands, gripping it like an anchor. Rain streams down her face, plastering her dark hair to her cheeks. Her eyes are open but unfocused, staring at nothing. She's blind. And she's completely alone. Zola stops. People flow around them both like water around stones. No one else pauses. No one else looks. "Hey," Zola says gently, stepping closer. "Are you okay?" The girl's head turns slightly toward the sound of her voice, but she doesn't answer. Her small body trembles, whether from cold or fear, Zola can't tell. "Sweetheart, where's your mom? Your dad?" Still nothing. The child's knuckles are white around the cane. Zola glances around, searching for anyone who might be looking for a lost child. The street is crowded but indifferent. Thunder rolls somewhere overhead. She can't just walk away. "Okay," Zola murmurs, crouching down as much as her belly allows. "It's okay. I'm going to help you, all right. My name is Zola." "Harin," the girl whispers. Her voice is barely audible over the rain. "Harin, that's beautiful." Zola smiles even though the child can't see it. Something in her tone must be reassuring because Harin's grip loosens slightly. "Can you tell me your phone number or your address?" Harin shakes her head, water droplets flying from her hair. "That's okay, we'll figure it out." Zola straightens with effort, pulling her phone from her pocket. The screen is wet, difficult to navigate. She's about to call the police when she hears it. The low rumble of engines. 3 black SUVs slide to a stop along the curb, their tinted windows reflecting nothing but rain and neon. Doors open in unison. Men in dark suits step out, moving with the kind of precision that makes Zola's heart skip. These aren't police. Harin goes rigid. "Appa," she breathes. The last door opens. Yoon Tae-hyun emerges from the center vehicle like something out of a darker world. He's tall, lean, dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit that somehow hasn't been touched by the rain. His face is hard angles and colder eyes, the kind of face that doesn't soften easily. Maybe it never softens at all. His gaze sweeps the street with practiced efficiency before landing on his daughter. And then on Zola. For 3 seconds, no one moves. Zola straightens instinctively, her hand moving to Harin's shoulder. Every instinct tells her something is wrong here. These men, these cars, this man with eyes like winter, this isn't normal. But Harin reaches toward her father's voice. "Appa." Tae-hyun moves forward. His men flank him but keep their distance, forming a perimeter. When he speaks, his voice is low and controlled. "Step away from my daughter." It's not a request. Zola lifts her chin. She was alone. In the rain, I was helping her. "Step away." "I will, but first tell me you're her father." Something flickers across his face. Surprise, maybe. People don't question him. That much is obvious. "Harina," he says, softer now. "Are you hurt?" "No, Appa." The girl's voice trembles. "I got lost. The lady helped me." His eyes return to Zola. They're black in the neon light, unreadable. He takes in everything in an instant. Her pregnancy, her protective stance, the way she hasn't moved even though she's clearly afraid. You're American. I'm a person who doesn't leave children alone in the rain. Zola's voice is steady despite her racing heart. That's all you need to know. For a moment, the world narrows to just the three of them. Rain, silence, the weight of something unspoken. Then Tihayan extends his hand. Harin, come. The girl moves toward him immediately, her cane tapping against wet concrete. He catches her gently, lifting her into his arms like she weighs nothing. His expression doesn't change, but the way he holds her speaks volumes. He looks at Zola one more time. Thank you, he says. The words sound foreign in his mouth, like he doesn't use them often. Then he turns, carrying his daughter back to the car. The door closes. The convoy pulls away, disappearing into the rain-soaked streets of Seoul. Zola stands there, water running down her face, one hand still resting on her belly. She doesn't know what she just walked into. But she can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. Sunlight streams through the small window of Zola's studio apartment. It's modest but clean, with Korean language books stacked on the desk and a half-finished painting on an easel near the window. She's been in Seoul for 8 months, teaching English, trying to build something resembling a life. She makes tea with one hand while the other rubs the small of her back. The baby has been active this morning, a constant flutter of movement that makes her smile despite the ache. A knock at the door interrupts her routine. She's not expecting anyone. When she opens it, she finds 2 men in suits standing in the hallway. The same kind of men from 3 nights ago. Her breath catches. Ms. Jackson, the one on the left bows slightly. His English is formal, careful. We apologize for the intrusion. Mr. Yoon would like to speak with you. I don't know a Mr. Yoon. The man whose daughter you helped. He insists it will only take a moment. Everything in Zola's body screams to close the door, but something stops her. Maybe it's curiosity. Maybe it's the memory of Harin's small hand in hers. Where? Our car is downstairs. We will bring you back safely. Against her better judgment, Zola grabs her jacket. The house is more like a fortress. High walls, security cameras, men stationed at every entrance. But inside, it's surprisingly warm, minimalist but not cold. Traditional Korean art on the walls, afternoon light filtering through paper screens. Zola is led through corridors that smell faintly of jasmine tea until they reach a sitting room overlooking a private garden. Tae-hyun stands with his back to her, hands clasped behind him. He's dressed more casually today, dark slacks, a white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows. It makes him look younger, though no less intimidating. Ms. Jackson, he turns, thank you for coming. Did I have a choice? A hint of something, amusement, maybe touches his mouth. No. Zola crosses her arms over her belly. What do you want? To thank you properly and to explain. He gestures to a chair. Please. She sits, but only because her feet are tired. Tae-hyun remains standing. Harin's caretaker had a medical emergency that evening. In the confusion, Harin wandered away from our car. It should never have happened. But it did. Yes, he meets her eyes. You could have walked past her, most would have. I'm not most people. I'm aware. He pauses, as if weighing his next words carefully. Harin has asked for you, every day since that night. Zola blinks. What? She wants to see you again, to say thank you herself. His expression doesn't change, but there's something underneath. Discomfort, maybe. She doesn't have many people she trusts. Her mother died when she was 4. It's been just us since then. The information lands heavily. Zola softens slightly despite herself. I'm sorry. Don't be, but I'm asking if you would visit, once, so she can have closure. Zola should say no. Every logical part of her brain is screaming to refuse, to walk out of this house and never look back. But she thinks of Harin's small voice in the rain, and the answer comes out anyway. One visit. Thank you. As she stands to leave, a door at the far end of the room opens. Harin appears, guided by a young woman who must be the new caretaker. The child's face lights up. You came. She moves forward, hands outstretched. Zola's chest tightens. She kneels, letting Harin's fingers find her face, her shoulders, the curve of her belly. "There's a baby," Harin whispers, wonder in her voice. "Yes, there is." "When?" "2 more months." Harin presses both palms gently against Zola's stomach. "Can I meet the baby too?" Zola glances at Taehyun, who watches them with an unreadable expression. She looks back at the child's hopeful face. "Maybe," she says softly, "maybe you can." One visit became 2, then 3, then it stopped being counted. Zola tells herself it's for Harin. The child needs someone who isn't afraid of her father, someone who talks to her like she's just a kid, instead of the daughter of a man whose name makes grown adults go pale. But Zola is lying to herself, and she knows it. She comes back because of the way Harin's laughter fills the quiet house. Because the child asks questions about everything: what colors look like, what different countries smell like, whether the baby will have Zola's curly hair. She comes back because it feels less lonely than her empty apartment. And maybe, just maybe, because every time she arrives, Taehyun is there. He doesn't say much. Mostly he watches from doorways or across rooms, his presence both distant and impossible to ignore. But sometimes, when Harin falls asleep during their reading sessions, he steps closer. "You're good with her," he says one evening, his voice low to avoid waking his daughter. Zola carefully extracts her hand from Harin's grip, adjusting the blanket around the child's shoulders. "She's easy to be good with." "Not for most people." "Then they're not trying hard enough." He almost smiles. It's barely there, just the slightest softening at the corner of his mouth, but Zola catches it. "You should go home," he says. "It's late. I'll have someone drive you." "I can take a taxi." "No," the word is firm. "You're 7 months pregnant and it's past midnight in a city you don't know well. You'll take my car." It's not a request. It never is with him. But this time, Zola doesn't argue. The dynamic shifts slowly, like tectonic plates moving beneath the surface. Taehyun starts joining them for dinner. He doesn't talk much, but he listens. He listens when Zola tells stories about growing up in Atlanta, about teaching English in 3 different countries before landing in Seoul. He listens when Harin asks impossible questions about stars and music and whether fish get lonely. And Zola listens too. She learns that Taehyun's empire wasn't inherited. It was built from nothing, brick by bloody brick. She learns that he reads to Harin every night in Korean, teaching her the language through stories their own mother used to tell. She learns that he never wanted this life, but he's too deep in it now to find a way out. "Do you ever think about leaving?" she asks one night when Harin is asleep upstairs. They're in the garden. The air is cool, autumn settling over Seoul. Zola sits on a stone bench, her hands resting on her belly. Taehyun stands a few feet away, staring at nothing. "Every day," he says quietly. "Then why don't you?" "Because men like me don't get to leave. We only get replaced." He finally looks at her. "And when that happens, Harin loses everything, so I stay." Zola's throat tightens. "That's a terrible way to live." "It's the only way I know." Silence settles between them, heavy with things neither of them know how to say. "You should hate me," Taehyun says suddenly, "for what I am, what I do." "I should," Zola agrees, "but I don't think it's that simple." "It should be." "Maybe, but it's not." She meets his eyes across the darkness. "You're a good father. I see that every time I'm here. Whatever else you are, you're that first." Something in his expression cracks. Just for a moment, the mask slips and Zola sees the man underneath. Tired, lonely, desperate for something he thinks he doesn't deserve. "You should go home," he says, but his voice has lost its edge. "I know." Neither of them moves. If you can feel this turning into something real, drop a heart in the comments. And don't forget to tell me where you're watching from. It means more than you know. Zola wakes to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. It takes her a moment to remember where she is. The guest room. Taehyun insisted she stay over after she fell asleep on the couch during a movie with Harin. She was too tired to argue, her body heavy with the weight of 8 months of pregnancy. She finds them in the kitchen. Harin sits at the counter, carefully spreading jam on toast with her father's patient guidance. Hyun stands beside her, his hand hovering near hers in case she needs help. Morning light catches the edges of his profile, softening the sharp angles. He looks different in this light, almost peaceful. "Good morning," Zola says from the doorway. Harin's face brightens. "Zola, you're still here." "I am." She moves into the kitchen, accepting the cup of tea Hyun offers without a word. Their fingers brush during the exchange. Neither acknowledges it. "Appa made pancakes," Harin announces proudly. "Well, he tried. They're a little burnt." "They're edible," Hyun corrects, but there's warmth in his voice. Zola sits, and somehow, this moment feels more intimate than anything that's come before. The three of them in this quiet kitchen, morning sun warming the counters, the smell of tea and slightly burnt pancakes in the air. It feels like family. The realization hits Zola like a punch to the chest. This isn't just about Harin anymore. Maybe it never was. She glances at Hyun and finds him already watching her. For once, he doesn't look away. The baby kicks hard enough to make Zola gasp. She's sitting in the library, reading while Harin practices piano in the next room. The melody is simple but beautiful, her small fingers finding the keys by memory and touch. Hyun appears in the doorway. "Are you all right?" "Fine, just..." The baby kicks again. Zola presses her hand to her side, wincing. "Very active today." He crosses the room before she can blink, kneeling beside her chair. "Should I call a doctor?" "No, it's normal, just uncomfortable sometimes." She sees the concern in his eyes and softens. "I promise I'm okay." He doesn't move. His gaze drops to where her hand rests on her belly, and something shifts in his expression. "May I?" Zola's breath catches. It's such a small thing, but it feels monumental. She nods. Hyun places his palm gently over hers. They wait in silence, and then the baby moves, a strong roll beneath his hand. His eyes widen fractionally. "That's..." "I know," Zola smiles despite herself. "Weird, right?" "Extraordinary." He looks up at her, and the distance that usually exists between them evaporates. "You're extraordinary." The moment stretches, fragile and charged. Zola doesn't pull away, neither does he. In the next room, Harin continues playing, oblivious to the way the world has just tilted on its axis. The nightmares start without warning. Zola wakes gasping, her heart racing, the sheets twisted around her legs. She's back in the guest room. She's been staying over more often now, too tired to make the trip home every night. The baby is due in 3 weeks, and every day feels heavier than the last. But tonight, her mind won't quiet. She keeps seeing flashes of things she doesn't understand. Black cars, men with guns, blood on rain-soaked streets. None of it is real, but it feels too close to reality for comfort. She knows what Hyun is. He's never lied about it. But she's been willfully blind, focusing on Harin, on the small domestic moments that feel safe. Now, in the dark, she can't hide from the truth. She finds him in his study, still dressed despite the late hour. Papers are spread across his desk, his expression hard in the lamplight. He looks up when she enters. "You should be sleeping." "I can't." She closes the door behind her. "We need to talk." Something in her tone makes him straighten. "All right." "What exactly do you do?" The question comes out sharper than she intended. "Don't give me vague answers. I need to know what I'm walking into every time I come here." Hyun's jaw tightens. For a long moment, he doesn't answer. Then he stands, moving to the window overlooking the city. "I control most of the underground operations in Seoul," he says quietly. "Protection, smuggling, information. I don't deal in drugs or trafficking. I have lines I won't cross. But I'm not innocent, Zola. I've hurt people. I've made decisions that keep me awake at night." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you asked, and because I'm tired of lying to you." He turns to face her. "You deserve to know what I am before this goes any further." "Before what goes any further?" The words hang in the air between them. Hyun crosses the space slowly, deliberately. When he stops in front of her, Zola has to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. "I'm falling in love with you," he says simply. "I don't know when it started. Maybe that first night in the rain. Maybe when I saw you with Harin. But it's happening and I can't stop it." Zola's heart hammers against her ribs. "Hyun." You don't have to say anything. I know this is complicated. I know I'm the last person you should want. His hand lifts, hesitating near her cheek. But I need you to know the truth, all of it. She should step back. She should leave this house and never return. Instead, she leans into his touch. I'm falling too, she whispers, and it terrifies me. Good, his thumb traces the line of her jaw. It should. When he kisses her, it's gentle, careful, like she's something precious that might break. Zola kisses him back, and for the first time in months, she feels completely seen. Everything changes on a Wednesday. Zola is in the kitchen with Harin, teaching her how to fold dumplings by feel. The child's laughter fills the space, bright and unworried. Then the front door slams open. One of Taehyun's men rushes in, his face pale. Sir, we have a situation. Taehyun appears from his office, his expression immediately cold and focused. Speak. The Busan Syndicate. They're making a move tonight they know about. His eyes flick to Zola. They know. The temperature in the room drops. Harin, Taehyun says calmly, go upstairs with Ms. Chen. But Appa. Now. The tone leaves no room for argument. The caretaker appears, gently guiding Harin away. The child's cane taps against the floor, a fatting rhythm. Zola stands slowly. What's happening? You need to leave. Taehyun's voice is clipped, controlled. My driver will take you home. Pack a bag. You're going to a hotel until this is resolved. Taehyun. This isn't a discussion. He looks at her, and for the first time she sees fear in his eyes, real fear. They know about you, about Harin. I won't risk either of you. Then let me help. No. He crosses to her in 2 strides, gripping her shoulders. Listen to me. These people don't negotiate. They destroy everything I care about to prove a point. You can't be here. Zola's hands curl around his wrists. What about you? I'll handle it. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. He presses his forehead to hers briefly, a gesture of desperate affection. Please, go. Every instinct screams at her to refuse, but she sees the terror beneath his controlled exterior, and she understands. This is how he protects them. This is all he knows how to do. Okay, she whispers, but you come back to us, you hear me? I will. He kisses her once, hard and fast, and then he's gone. The hotel is on the other side of the city, far from Taehyun's territory. Zola sits in the back of the car, her hands pressed protectively over her belly. The baby hasn't moved in over an hour, and unease coils in her chest. They're stopped at a red light when she feels it. A sharp, vicious pain that steals her breath. No, she gasps. No, not now. The driver glances in the rearview mirror. Ma'am. Another contraction hits, stronger than the first. Zola doubles over, panic flooding her system. Hospital, she grits out. Now. Everything becomes a blur of white lights and urgent voices. Doctors speaking rapid Korean. Machines beeping. Hands guiding her onto a bed. How far along? 37 weeks, Zola manages. Any complications? No, but the baby, something's wrong. They move fast, wheeling her through corridors. She tries to focus on breathing, on staying calm, but all she can think is that she's alone. Taehyun doesn't even know she's here. We need to call someone, a nurse says in English. Zola rattles off a number without thinking. Taehyun's personal line. She doesn't know if he'll answer. She doesn't know if he's even alive. But 15 minutes later, he crashes through the emergency room doors like a man possessed. You're insane, Zola says, but there's no heat in it. She's too exhausted. Taehyun sits beside her bed, his suit jacket gone, his shirt sleeves rolled up. There's a cut above his eyebrow that he hasn't bothered to clean, and his knuckles are split and bruised. I'm here, he says simply. You could have been killed. I'm here, he repeats, taking her hand. His grip is steady despite the evidence of violence still clinging to him. That's all that matters. The doctor enters before Zola can respond. She's a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and efficient movements. Ms. Jackson, the contractions have stopped for now, but the baby is in distress. We need to deliver tonight. Zola's breath catches. It's too early. 37 weeks is full term. The baby will be fine. The doctor glances at Taehyun. Are you the father? No, his hand tightens around Zola's, but I'm not leaving. The doctor nods, understanding passing across her face. Then we'll get you both ready. Pain, pressure, the overwhelming sensation of her body doing something it was designed for but never prepared for. Zola grips Taehyun's hand so hard she's sure she's breaking bones, but he doesn't flinch. He stays beside her through every contraction, his voice low and steady in her ear. You're doing perfectly. Breathe, I'm right here. I can't. You can, I know you can. Hours blur together. At some point, she stops feeling like a person and becomes pure instinct, focused entirely on bringing this life into the world. And then, finally, a cry. Sharp, indignant, alive. It's a girl, the doctor announces, smiling. Zola collapses back against the pillows, tears streaming down her face. The nurse places a tiny, squirming bundle on her chest, and everything else ceases to exist. She's perfect. Oh my God, Zola whispers, her hands trembling as she touches her daughter's face. Hi, baby, hi. She looks up to find Taehyun staring at them both with an expression she's never seen before. Raw, unguarded, absolutely devastated by the moment. Do you want to hold her? Zola asks softly. He shakes his head. I'm not. Please. He accepts the baby with the same careful precision he applies to everything, cradling her against his chest like she's made of glass. The contrast is striking. This man who controls an empire, who makes grown adults shake in fear, holding an hours-old infant with infinite gentleness. Hello, he murmurs in Korean. You're very brave, little one. Zola watches them and feels her heart crack open completely. This is what love looks like. Sunlight streams through the windows. Zola wakes to find Taehyun asleep in the chair beside her bed, still in his blood-stained shirt, the baby cradled carefully in his arms. She watches them for a long moment, memorizing the scene. When he finally stirs, their eyes meet across the quiet room. Hi, she says. Hi, his voice is rough with exhaustion. How are you feeling? Sore, happy, she gestures to the baby. How's she doing? Perfect, she slept through the night. He stands carefully, bringing the baby closer. I think she likes me. Of course she does. Zola accepts her daughter, pressing a kiss to the downy head. Have you slept at all? No. Taehyun. I needed to make sure you were both safe. He sits on the edge of the bed, his expression serious. The situation is handled. The Busan syndicate won't be a problem anymore. Zola doesn't ask how. She's not sure she wants to know. What happens now? She asks instead. That depends on you. Me. He takes a breath as if steeling himself. I'm leaving the organization. Not immediately. These things take time, but I'm done. Harin deserves better. You deserve better. He looks at her, and there's something vulnerable in his eyes. I want to be someone you're not ashamed to love. Zola's throat tightens. I'm not ashamed. You should be. Well, I'm not. She shifts the baby so she can take his hand. I see you, Taehyun, all of you, the things you've done, the man you're trying to become, and I'm not going anywhere. You don't have to. I know, but I want to. She squeezes his fingers. We both do. The baby chooses that moment to yawn, a tiny sound that makes them both smile despite everything. She needs a name, Taehyun says softly. Zola considers. What about me, son? It means beauty and goodness in Korean, right? It does. He touches the baby's cheek with one finger. Me, son, I like it. Then that's her name. Zola looks at him. Will you help me raise her, both of you, you and Harin? Taehyun's eyes shine with something that might be tears. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. He leans forward, kissing her forehead with infinite tenderness. Then yes, for as long as you'll let me. Sunlight fills the open-plan living room. It's a different house, smaller than Taehyun's estate but warmer somehow. Less fortress, more home. Zola sits on the floor with Mi-sun, who is determinedly trying to crawl toward a pile of toys. At 6 months old, she's all chubby cheeks and curious eyes, reaching for everything within her grasp. Harin lies beside them, her hand resting near the baby's foot. Did she move? Yes, she's almost got it. Zola guides Misun's tiny hand forward. Come on, sweet girl. The baby lurches forward, crossing half a meter before collapsing in delighted giggles. She did it, Harin claps. Zola, she did it. I know. Good job, Misun. Hyun appears in the doorway, holding bags of groceries. He's dressed casually, jeans and a simple shirt, and there's a lightness to him that wasn't there before. 6 months of legitimate business ventures of distance from his old life have changed him. He smiles more now, laughs occasionally, sleeps through the night. What did I miss? He asks. Misun crawled, Harin announces proudly. Did she? He sets the groceries down, moving to join them on the floor. Show me, Misana. The baby immediately crawls toward him, reaching for his face with sticky hands. He catches her, lifting her high enough to make her shriek with laughter. Zola watches them, her daughter, Harin, Hyun, and feels something settle deep in her chest. This unconventional, patchwork family that shouldn't work but somehow does. I love this, she says quietly. Hyun looks at her over Misun's head. So do I. Harin leans against Zola's shoulder. Me too. They stay like that, the 4 of them tangled together on the living room floor, sunlight warming their skin. The cherry blossoms are in full bloom, painting the park in shades of pink and white. Families spread blankets beneath the trees, children chasing each other through falling petals. Zola pushes Misun's stroller while Harin walks beside them, her cane tapping a familiar rhythm. Hyun trails slightly behind, carrying a picnic basket and watching them with an expression that's become his default. Soft. Content. They find a spot beneath a large tree, and Hyun spreads out the blanket with practiced efficiency. Harin settles immediately, reaching for Misun, who babbles happily in her arms. Careful with her, Hyun says automatically. Appa, I know, Harin grins. I'm good at this. You are, Zola agrees, sitting beside them. She accepts the tea Hyun offers, their fingers brushing in the exchange. Thank you. Always. They eat in comfortable silence, watching the sun sink lower in the sky. Misun falls asleep in Harin's lap, her tiny fist curled around the older girl's finger. She trusts you completely, Hyun observes. I love her completely, Harin replies simply. Zola's chest tightens with emotion. She looks at Hyun and finds him already watching her, that familiar intensity in his gaze. Walk with me, he asks quietly. She nods. They leave Harin with Misun under the watchful eye of his ever-present security team. Some habits die hard and wander deeper into the park. Petals drift around them like snow, catching in Zola's hair. I have something to tell you, Hyun says when they're alone. Zola's heart skips. Okay. I finalized the last of the transfers today. Everything is legitimate now. No more ties to the old organization. He stops walking, turning to face her fully. I'm free. Hyun. She presses her hand to his chest, feeling his heartbeat beneath her palm. That's incredible. It's terrifying, he admits. I've never been anything but that. I don't know how to be anything else. Then we'll figure it out together. She smiles up at him. That's what family does. He takes her hand, his thumb tracing circles on her skin. Marry me. Zola's breath catches. What? Marry me, he repeats, dropping to one knee right there beneath the cherry blossoms. I know this is fast. I know I'm not the man you imagined. But I love you, Zola. I love me, son. I love this life we're building. And I want it to be permanent. He pulls a small box from his pocket, opening it to reveal a simple but beautiful ring. I'm not asking you to take my name or change who you are. I'm just asking you to let me stand beside you, officially, for the rest of our lives. Zola feels tears spill down her cheeks. Yes. 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 She pulls him to his feet, kissing him with everything she has. Yes, yes, yes. He slides the ring onto her finger, and it fits perfectly. Of course it does. When they return to the blanket, Harin somehow knows immediately. You're getting married. How did you? I can hear it in your voices, she grins. Does this mean you're officially my Uma now? Zola's heart shatters and reforms in the same instant. If you want me to be. I do. Harin reaches for her hand. I really do. Taehyun wraps his arms around all three of them, pulling them close. Mi-sun wakes up and protests the squishing with an indignant squeak, making them all laugh. I love you, Taehyun murmurs into Zola's hair. Saranghi. I love you too, she whispers back. Around them, cherry blossoms continue to fall, and the sky turns gold with the setting sun. The house is filled with people, not the dangerous kind from Taehyun's past, but friends, real ones, colleagues from Zola's school, families from Harin's music class, even some of Taehyun's former associates who chose legitimate paths alongside him. It's their wedding reception, small and intimate, exactly what they both wanted. Zola wears a simple ivory dress that accommodates Mi-sun, who refuses to be put down. Harin is in pale pink, holding tight to Zola's free hand as they greet guests. Taehyun moves through the room with quiet confidence, no longer the feared mafia boss, but just a man celebrating the best decision of his life. When the music starts, he crosses to Zola, extending his hand. Dance with me. She passes Mi-sun to Harin's caretaker and takes his hand. They move to the center of the room, swaying slowly to the music. Happy? He asks softly. Incredibly, she rests her head against his chest. You. More than I have any right to be. Stop that, she looks up at him. You deserve this, we all do. He kisses her forehead. Thank you. For what? For seeing me. For saving me that night in the rain when you saved my daughter. For giving me a reason to become someone better. You did that yourself, Zola says. I just reminded you it was possible. They dance until Mi-sun starts fussing, until Harin asks to join them, until the song changes and the moment shifts into something even sweeter. The four of them together, moving in their own clumsy circle, laughing and alive. Later, when the guests have gone and the girls are asleep upstairs, Zola and Taehyun stand on the balcony overlooking Seoul. The city glitters beneath them, all neon and possibility. Do you ever regret it, he asks, stopping that night? Zola thinks back to the rain, to the scared child with a white cane, to the moment that changed everything. Never, she says, not even once. He pulls her close, and they stand there together, watching the city that brought them together. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rumbles, a reminder of that first night, but the sky above them is clear. Come inside, she murmurs eventually. It's cold. In a minute, he kisses the top of her head. I just want to remember this. We have a lifetime of moments to remember now. I know, his arms tighten around her, but this one is perfect. And it is, despite everything, despite the danger, the fear, the impossible circumstances that brought them together. This moment, this love, this family is absolutely perfect. They go inside together, closing the door on the night. And somewhere in the house, Mi-sun stirs in her crib, Harin dreams in her room, and the morning promises a new day. A better day. Together. If this story touched your heart, like the video and share it with someone who loves emotional dramas. And before you go, comment where you're watching from. I read every single one. Subscribe for more stories like this. I'll see you in the next one.